Hey Men Warriors, it's Kate and welcome back to my channel where I share weekly videos with you every Monday about something related to the menopause. Today I'm talking about mood swings and those uncontrollable fits of rage that you might be experiencing. Know that that is actually quite normal during perimenopause and menopause. It is, of course, down to your hormones that are all over the shop, but I'm going to explain the science behind it and also share things with you that are hopefully going to help you just manage to quell the sort of the swings a little bit more effectively. So you might be one of those people who are just finding it really embarrassing. You are having emotional outbursts, you might be bursting into tears, you might be shouting at people, you might just be feeling really irritable, you might have previously been quite a calm person and now you're waking up, and the minute you wake up you're feeling irritated and you're feeling cross and antsy, and just little things are niggling away at you. And actually this can be really freeing too. When during my research for this one particularly, because I love finding out different people's stories, the amount of women who I have read about or spoken to who also find this phase of their life challenging but also very cleansing, because sometimes you just, I don't know, brush things under the rug for the sake of peace, keeping the peace. You might be fearful of confrontation, or you've always previously avoided confrontation, and then all of a sudden now you've got this pressure cooker of rage and irritabilities and frustrations and just like anger building up and boiling up, and suddenly the pot bursts off the top and you're exploding. But sometimes that explosion can be quite beneficial because it clears the air. Sometimes we need to be pushed into a bit of a corner to really show our rat's teeth and go back out for the jugular. And sometimes it's a good thing to happen. I'm not saying that I am encouraging aggression. I'm not saying, you know, being angry is good, but expressing our emotions fully and authentically is. And one of the worst things that you can do is suppress your emotions, because they do have a habit of building up. It's whenever I talk to my anxiety clients, nip it in the bud. Deal with it in the earliest days possible. Most of us don't. We get used to, life's busy, isn't it? It's just, oh, I'll wait, I'll hang on, maybe things will get better. And then they don't. And then they get continually worse until you almost find yourself stuck in this rut that you actually can't lift yourself out of without the help of external, you know, specialists. So while I can appreciate for some of you it's a real problem, just know that sometimes cleaning the air and for people to actually see you in your true, authentic, really pissed off state is not always a bad thing. We are the pacifiers, and sometimes I think other people need to know that you're human and that there is a limit. And right now, when you're dealing with your changing hormones, particularly if you're sort of midlife, you might be perimenopausal and a bit younger still, but there's a lot of stress out there anyhow. Our relationships are changing, the dynamics of our relationships are changing. We might be becoming empty nesters. We're getting older. We're facing the fact that everything's bloody well moving south, apart from our belly fat, which is moving from our bum up to around our hips, which is just not something we want to do. You know, no matter how sort of light spirited you can be about it, you know, the turkey neck is getting more turkey like, the wrinkles are getting deeper, and unfortunately they're not going to get any better. So you know, there's a lot of things that we're trying to embrace in this stage of life. No matter how natural you are and how you know, you're not worried about getting older, I think deep down we probably all want to look a little bit more youthful and feel a little bit more youthful. Maybe not. If not, and you'll say no, I really don't care, well, good on you. Please share your tips and your strategies below. I think gratitude is a very important element of it. You know, I turned 53 yesterday, and I'm just grateful to be alive. But I am also grateful, I would be even more grateful if I didn't have like really wrinkles appearing, and some of my eyelashes have turned white. I haven't got many grey hairs, strangely, but my eyelashes are starting to turn white, which is quite freaky. So anyway, back to the subject matter. At this stage of life, there's a lot of challenges, and you may also be facing a future which is a little bit unstable. If your dynamics are changing and you're considering a split up or a breakup from your significant other, there's that financial concern. If you may be the main breadwinner, you might have a very secure income, in which case, brilliant. But there's a lot of women around my age group who have been stay-at-home mums. They've prioritized raising the family, and it can be really hard. It can be disconcerting when you're thinking, but how am I going to manage? Have I got to stay locked in this relationship that I'm not happy with? Which of course is going to give you bloody mood swings, because you're facing such an uncertain financial future. Just as a quick aside, in caveats, brackets, whatever you want to call them, if you are feeling like that, and if you have the remotest urge to help people and you want to prioritize your own wellness, please message me or click the link below. I will have a conversation. I will share some information with you about how you can prioritize your own health and wellness and also build an income with a supportive community. This is not to sell that at the moment, but I just want you to know that sometimes it's really nice to know that there are options out there for you. There's a lot of women like me, like you, who have started this particular career path, and it is bloody marvelous. So with that aside, I'm having a hot flush. I'm going to strip off my top. I have got one on underneath. So going back to the mood swings and the rage and the uncontrollable anger outbursts, know that you are not alone. There, hang on, loads of other women. I really should have paused this anyway, but anyway, I like to keep it natural. There are loads of other women who are going through a similar position as yourself. And it is largely down to, obviously, our falling hormones, particularly estrogen. Our brain has a lot of estrogen receptors in it. So I just want to sort of explain a little bit of our brain anatomy. So we have the amygdala. The amygdala is responsible really for our fight and flight response. So when something scary happens, it's our amygdala that will pump the adrenaline out into your body. It will slow down your digestion. It'll slow down your desire for sex, because of course, if you're running away from a predator, you're not really thinking about having a bit of nookie on the side. But it will be pumping blood into your muscles so that you can either fight or run away fast. Some people freeze, but that's very much tied up into our sort of reptilian brain. Really, that is our primordial survival instinct, and at times it works really, really well. Because we live in a society that is quite stressful, our amygdala is often firing off with things that wouldn't normally make it fire off, because we're living in a heightened state of alertness, a heightened state of stress, a heightened state of awareness. And you might know people who they just see somebody who they don't expect to see, and it makes them jump. And that is a classic example of having your fight and flight response is a little bit more activated than it needs to be. That also is the center of our memories, of how we perceive things. So you may have had something happen to you. Somebody might have said something condescending to you when you were younger. They might have said something that made you cross at the time when you were younger. And with years, you've just kind of become forgotten about. And then because of the fact that our falling hormone levels are affecting how well we can manage our fight and flight response, somebody might say something to you which is a pattern match to all those years ago, and all of a sudden, you don't know why, but it fills you with rage. It has put the bullet in the chamber and you've fired the gun off. You don't know why it had such a major reaction to you, but it's highly likely that there was something years ago that has been stored into your amygdala, that sort of memory bank, and now it's really got your goat. And it could be something as simple as you may even have misunderstood somebody's meaning or intention with their comment. On top of that, our prefrontal cortex is our logical part of our brain, and that works opposite to the amygdala. So the amygdala is like sort of the reactive, the instinctive bit of our brain, and the prefrontal cortex is much more the judge side, measured and doesn't talk too fast and thinks very carefully before it says anything. And as our estrogen levels are falling, we also lose a bit of control of our prefrontal cortex. So we've kind of got the amygdala going wild on both levels. And it's our prefrontal cortex being negatively affected by our falling estrogen levels is having less of a dampening effect on our sort of fight and flight response. So that sort of explains in fairly simple terms why you might be suddenly getting these outbursts. So there are certain things that you can do, which I am going to absolutely share with you. One of the ladies that I was talking to while I was doing my research for this, she was saying how much understanding that about her brain had helped, because she realized it is her hormones affecting her. It's not her that's turned into this sort of paranoid, multiple personality person who has rage and anger and frustration and everything within a short space of time, turning all her family and loved ones against her because she's become this demon, in her words. And when she started exercise, and she also started meditation, and she found that really, really beneficial for her. So like I said, I am going to go over a few things, but I just want to share like a couple of stories with you of people who have taken a few simple steps to improve their rage outbursts, and it has made a big, big difference. Another lady I was chatting to, she was taking St. John's wort. I never know how to say it. But there, you have to be careful with that, because if you're on HRT, if you're on the contraceptive pill, if you're taking any kind of medications, it can interfere with those. So while it's great if you're on no medications at all, it does help against depressive, anxious feelings. If you're on any kind of medication, you're probably not able to take it. Also, just know that as our estrogen levels fall, our serotonin, one of our happy hormones, also falls. Now, serotonin gets created in the gut, as well as quite a few of our other happy chemical messengers in the body. So as our digestion slows due to falling estrogen, and we can often become a little bit more inflammatory in our gut, that also has a negative impact on how happy we feel. So as well as our brain dealing with things not quite as effectively as it used to do, the amount of happier hormones that we are generating, or happier, they're not hormones, feel good, sort of neurotransmitters, chemicals, call them chemicals, our happy chemicals, are not as effective as they used to be. So it's this double, well, in fact triple whammy really, because of a stressful life as well. So we need to be working on this from all three levels. The chemical bit in the brain, so the way the amygdala, the prefrontal cortex lobe works, that generally will settle down in time. I think having that understanding that that is what's happening gives you control and ownership over the things that you know you can do to then help your brain, give your brain a bit of a helping hand while it needs it. As far as our happy hormones go, we create those when we do exercise. Please, please, please do not ignore the importance of exercise. We also get a sense of relief when we get outside into the sun, into ultraviolet light. Vitamin D is one of the absolute foundations. It's as important to sleep, to healthy mental and physical health. So make sure that you, and also vitamin D is going to help you sleep better. It's going to, particularly if you can get out earlier in the day, it will set up your circadian rhythm more effectively, so that by the time you're starting to get ready for bed, your melatonin is going to start to secrete more, your cortisol levels should be going down more, so that you're naturally getting ready to go to sleep, and you should sleep better. So you want to be out in the sun, you want to be exercising, because that also releases feel-good hormones and it gobbles up stress hormones. What are you eating and drinking? Now, I covered sodas, I think, the last two episodes that I've done. One, because they contain a huge amount of high fructose corn syrup, which is rubbish for your bone health. It's also rubbish for your mental health, for your gut health. Why do we even produce the bloody stuff? We shouldn't be. But the fact of the matter is, it's in lots of your foods, it's in your crackers, it's in your cookies, it's in your salad dressings, it's in your healthy pasta sauces. Try and create as much as you can from home. Be aware of what additives and things are in your food. Raw sugar is not really a problem. Raw sugar is a plant. We don't want to eat too much raw sugar, but raw sugar in and of itself isn't really an issue. I eat my adaptogen herbs, my superfood shake that I have every day, that has some raw sugar in it. And I say to people, I don't really eat sugar, but I have some raw sugar in that. Raw sugar is not bad. The refined rubbish sugar, the artificial sugars, now those are the ones you want to be avoiding. So bear that in mind. Just become good, get good at understanding food labels. You want to be making sure that you're well hydrated. So the high fructose corn syrup is in a lot of sodas. So please, if you can just stop drinking sodas, your life is going to be so much better for it. Again, some of the ladies that I was talking to about this, they found that when they stopped their drinking sodas, they not only lost weight, they felt a whole lot better. Their mood swings petered out a bit. They were much more able to manage those, instead of it becoming like an uncontrollable rage outburst. They just felt more able to cope with it. They still felt irritable, but it wasn't like an explosion of irritability. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. It's really important that you stay hydrated. Our bodies are made up of loads and loads of water. And if you don't like water, work out a way that you can drink water. Maybe add fruits and spices and herbs into your water. Maybe drink some herbal teas. Try sparkling water. Get a water filter. If you drink water out of the tap and you really hate the flavor of it, just invest in a low-cost water filter. I promise you it will make the biggest difference to how your water tastes and also how it feels. So water is crucial for you. I know somebody who has got cancer. It's the same cancer that actually killed my dad. And that individual does not like water and will not start to drink water as a result, even though there is that terminal diagnosis. Just will not drink water. And it's just one of the craziest things to me. It's just, is your life not valuable enough for you to just start to drink water? Get it into you. You need it. As I said it the other day, you can take a horse to water, you can't force it to drink. And I come up against this so many times with women I talk about with the menopause, with anxiety. There are so many things that we know we should be doing, and for some reason we're just not. But why not? Why not? It's not up to anybody else to force us or to push us or encourage us. It's down to us. Our health is our greatest asset. And it's not often until you've lost your health that you realize actually how important it was. And sometimes you don't have the opportunity to get it back. So just steering that back around. Water, healthy nutrition is going to play a large part in helping you manage your mood outbursts, those anger outbursts. Make sure that your plate at mealtimes is 50% vegetables. Yeah, you might hate me for saying that, but you need to eat more vegetables. Fruits are really good for you. Make sure you're eating sufficient protein, particularly through the menopause and beyond. Protein is absolutely vital to us. So are healthy fats. A few weeks back, I did the importance of cholesterol, or the cholesterol myth in menopause. Cholesterol is the precursor for all our hormones. If we haven't got cholesterol, our hormones are absolutely buggered. We need cholesterol. There are two types of bad cholesterol, two types of LDL. There is the good type and the bad type of LDL. Cholesterol myths is in the title. Have a look at that. It's literally, I think I did it about 4 weeks ago. That might be a really interesting one for you to watch as well, if you're not if you're still a bit unsure about cholesterol and that whole thing. Healthy fats are very, very important for us. Meditation, if you can meditate, that will make a huge difference to you. Now, there is Eric Wallenstein. He wrote a book a while back on the effects of regular meditation on Vietnam warfighters and those that had PTSD, really, really serious PTSD. And with regular meditation, these guys were able to get off their medications and live a normal functioning life because it just gave them so much peace and control over their life. So meditation is absolutely vital if you are struggling with your mood swings. I've been lucky. I haven't really had too many outbursts through the menopause, but then I am quite blunt, and I have learned over the years that if something's bothering me, you're better off just to say it before it brews. I used to be the biggest brooder, but now I don't brood so much. If you struggle to express yourself, then just maybe write a letter. Because one of my points is to let your friends and family know that you're going through a difficult time at the moment. Some of them might say, well, you'll just have to deal with it. Well, they were very supportive, weren't they? But nobody can deny how you are feeling. When you talk from your perspective, rather than saying, you make me feel like this, all you need to say is, I feel so irritable, I feel so angry, and I don't really understand why. I'm really struggling with this thing that's like inside of me. It's my hormones that are causing me to feel this way. And please don't think I've suddenly turned into this demon that hates you. I don't. It's just I'm finding it really hard to express myself effectively. And when you say that to somebody, or even write it in a note if you struggle to say it, at least you've given them that opportunity to hear you, to listen to you, and hopefully support you too. Now, if you're getting to the stage where you just think, oh, I just need some outside help, I've tried all the stuff, please try the stuff first, try the healthy stuff first. Because if you go to your doctor, it is proven that antidepressants do not have a positive impact, or indeed any impact, on low mood or irritability associated with menopause. So please don't think that is one of your options. I did an episode a while back on mental health and suicide risk in menopause, and the amount of stories I heard and read about from women who unfortunately have committed suicide because they felt so, well, they were given the wrong treatment by the doctors. They were given antidepressants, the antidepressants didn't work, and they just just felt so lost. And what a tragedy is that, of us failing them, our healthcare system failing them, when in actual fact they just needed a different approach. So don't expect to go to the doctors and get antidepressants and for it all to go away. It's not going to. I'm sure there's stuff that they can give you to help, but make sure that you try the healthy options first before you go down that route. Talk to a therapist. I would find a cognitive behavioral therapist or a hypnotherapist, somebody who can help you deal with your irritability in a sort of, I mean, as a therapist, I combine acceptance therapy, CBT, transactional analysis, a whole range of stuff with hypnotherapy, because hypnotherapy deals with the sort of the backdoor subconscious side, and then your speaking therapy deals more with the logical brain. So I like to do both aspects. I think that works really, really well. But have a chat. Get help from a therapist if you're feeling really desperate, because I think you'll find that will be a more effective approach than going to your doctor if you're looking for the antidepressant support. So other things you can do to help you manage your outbursts, help you get a sort of a grip on your anger, as well as the nutrition, as well as the exercise, as well as the water, is to maybe track when you have these anger outbursts. If you're always feeling in a state of irritability, it's not going to be so simple. But if you have a certain time of the day when all of a sudden you feel this anger building up, and that's a repeat pattern, keep a track of what your sleep, your what you've eaten, and how much water you've had to drink that day. You might just find that it's a time of the day when you're really busy. You might be picking up kids, you might be delivering stuff, whatever it might be, and you're not drinking enough water, and that is having a negative impact on your mental health. So do just track it for 10 days, 2 weeks. Tracking gives you so much information. Make sure you're prioritizing your sleep. I know it's very tempting to always sort of reach for the glass of wine. You're just fucked up and you can't be bothered to try and do the right things. You get to the end of the day, you've just had enough. Keep it to 1 glass if you can, because it will have a negative impact on your sleep. And if your sleep is negatively impacted, well, then you're setting yourself up for disaster the next day again. Get outside. I swear by adaptogen herbs. I have 8 of them every single day. I also, they come in like a superfood sachet. They also contain digestive enzymes and pre and probiotics. So they are helping my gut health as well, which of course helps your mental health. But adaptogen herbs help you deal with stress more effectively. They are known to help manage your cortisol levels. You can go down to your health food shop. I'm sure you can buy separate packs of adaptogen herbs. That's probably going to work out quite pricey, but take a look at them. Some of mine are ashwagandha, cordyceps, reishi, maytake, chaga, astragalus, schisandra, and did I say maca? I don't think I said maca. They all help us manage our stress response more effectively, but they all do it in a slightly different way. So I think it's a bit like you want a wide range of probiotics. for gut health. You don't just want to take one strain. You want to have a wide range of different strains to get the most out of your gut health, which is going to then help support your mental health. Sleepy tea before bedtime, chamomile, there's loads of it. I do drink chamomile. I always have chamomile tea before bed, or indeed one of the sort of the like pucker tea. They do a really nice sleepy tea, or sleep easy or something like that. So I would either have one of those or a chamomile tea before bed, because it does help you just shut off. It helps you relax. It has a calming effect on the body. So just consider doing something, getting yourself a relaxing herbal tea that you can take. Magnesium is also a great calming influence. The majority of us tend to be a bit lacking in magnesium, purely because we don't eat enough nuts and seeds and vegetables. And you might want to consider taking a magnesium glycinate supplement. Those are the best ones for stress, and helping you feel calmer. I would, if you're going to take magnesium, I would tend to take it before bedtime. Magnesium can make you a bit, bloated and a bit more gassy. So see how you get on with it. I'm sure with time you'll maybe take more magnesium every 2 days, just while your tummy gets used to it, if you're a little bit sensitive to it. But magnesium is a calming mineral, and I think you'll find that will help you. And then consider a vitamin B complex multivitamin. We can't store B vitamins in our body, so they're water soluble, they get flushed out of our bodies. And if we're not replenishing with B vitamins regularly, then we have a lack of them, and they do affect our nervous system. So a good multivitamin B complex vitamin supplement will help you manage your it's highly likely to help you manage your mental health more effectively. So in summary, be aware of the fact it is your hormones, it's not you, that is causing these outbursts. Be open about them. Do not suppress your feelings. See the benefit of them, maybe putting you into that position where you clear the air where it might need to be cleared. Because I'm sure there are a lot of us that have these situations, and it's just like, oh, for heaven's sake, right, I'm on it now. And then it's done. If you struggle to talk to your nearest and dearest, consider writing them a letter, and always remember to come from the point of I am rather than you make me, because when you're coming from a point of I am, nobody can deny your feelings. Nobody can deny how you are experiencing this. It's not accusatory if you say you make me feel this way. It already has an element of accusation, and they're likely to get a bit defensive. So when you come from a point of I am, yes, it is a vulnerable thing to say, but it helps them understand. And seek out professional help if you really feel that you're absolutely stuck. Also note that food that you buy in packets is designed to not make you feel very healthy in your head or in your body. So get better at reading food labels. Understand that you need to be eating plenty of protein, just as a rough guide. So if you want my protein guide, it's a really helpful. I designed it for me, and then I've shared it with loads and loads of people. It literally breaks down which food sources have the highest amounts of protein that you might want to add into your daily diet, the food that you eat every single day. You want to know how much protein you need to have. Ideally, what is your ideal weight, your perfect healthy weight? And so if that's like 140 pounds, you want to aim to eat between 120 and 140 grams of lean protein every day. And that is quite difficult. Even though I have a protein shake every day, I have a protein muscle recovery drink when I've done my workouts. I eat quite a protein-packed breakfast. I do tend to follow an intermittent fasting regime. And then obviously I try and make sure I eat plenty of protein in my evening meal. My superfood shake also contains protein. I still struggle to get to eat enough protein throughout the course of the day. And protein is the building block of life. We need it. When your skin's going and your collagen and elastins going, we need it. We need it for strong bones. We need it for strong muscles. It is such a key element of a healthy body. So make sure that you are eating plenty of protein. It's really important. If you're the sort of person that goes and says, well, that's fine, I eat a huge steak every single night, That's not great either, because you're eating too much protein in one sitting, and then too much of any one thing turns to fat. So you want to make sure that you're getting plenty of protein in your 2 or 3 meals that you have a day, and avoid refined sugars and processed foods as much as possible. Watch the amount of alcohol you drink. If you want to reduce the amount of alcohol that you're drinking, either buy some shop bought kombucha, or even better, make your own. I have a Facebook group where I took quite a few people from the absolute beginning of brewing your own kombucha through to the end. If you Google it, people make it seem really complicated. It's not. It is so much easier than you think it's going to be. I share what utensils you need to get, and everything, literally from beginning right through to the end, and all the tips and tricks that I would use as part of the brewing process. It contains a very, very small amount of alcohol. So if you're sensitive to alcohol, ignore it. But if you're not, and you want to cut down the amount you drink, a glass of kombucha in the evening is delicious, or whenever you drink. You might even, I mean, I like it. I have a little bit of Prosecco sometimes, and I top it up with kombucha, and it makes like a summery cocktail. It is gorgeous. So, consider brewing your own kombucha. It costs a fraction of the shop bought stuff. It's a lot healthier than the shop bought stuff. It's a lot healthier than drinking alcohol, a lot cheaper than drinking alcohol. So consider, message me if you want to be added into my Facebook groups, completely free of charge. It's just a resource that I just keep out there for people who want to learn about kombucha. You're more than welcome to get added into that. So remember, if you're facing financial difficulties, if you're stuck in a relationship that is not serving you where you're at, click the link below. That I will be in touch. It's really informal. You're not signing up. You're not obliging yourself to do anything. It's going to be, you can find out a bit more. See if prioritizing your health and wellness and earning an income from it is something you'd like to do. I promise you, it will change your life on every single bloody level. And if you want to know more about my adaptogen herbs, just message me whatever you want to learn more about from this episode, and I'll gladly share my resources with you. So I hope you found this helpful. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Share it with a friend if they need a bit of help, if you know that they're having a few outrageous bursts as well. And make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a future episode. Thank you for your company. Hope you have a great week. I hope the sun shines for you, and I will talk to you soon.